Hi, I'm Jonathan Moore. I'm Chief Executive of Stockport Credit Union. I'm talking to you today for the third time since I became Chief Executive, and I want to talk to you about a whole range of different things that have been going on in the year that we're talking about. Obviously, the main thing that's been happening in the year is the pandemic. The pandemic is now coming to an end perhaps, but certainly in the year that we're talking about, it really still affected us in a considerable way. And it's been the challenge of our lives to keep the credit union running as well as it has done. In order to make it work, we've had to adapt quite significantly. For most of the time that we're talking about, we actually all worked from home. And that was hard going. It was different. It required IT changes, it required different working practices, and it required our staff to operate in different ways. I'm pleased to tell you that we really rose to that opportunity and that challenge, and it's led to a better place now than we had in the past. The credit union has found new efficiencies, it's found new ways of operating, and it's found a new dedication to customer service, which has been at least partly caused by the pandemic. But we couldn't have done all of that without making some more significant changes. And the biggest change that we made was to bring in Nevo. And Nevo is our brilliant mobile phone app. And we use that for taking in loan applications and for communicating with members. And the simplest way of describing it is like WhatsApp. WhatsApp for business is a kind of useful way of looking at it. But it's brilliant. It's efficient, it's fast, it's safe, and it allows our members to interact with us 24/7. We're of course not there 24/7, but they can start the journey and then we can pick up when we come into the office the next day. It really does work very well, and it's allowing us to deal with a greater number of applications than we've ever dealt with before, and it is more secure. The other part of it also is the members area. The members area came in and it allows our members to interact with us as far as their savings accounts are concerned, and it means that they can from now on use a slightly different way of operating, and it takes us away from email, it takes us away from phone calls, and it means they can effectively self-service as far as savings are concerned. It's great, it's secure, it's fast, and the efficiencies it's created means that we can actually do 2 payment runs a day now, whereas previously we only did 1. So our members are getting better customer service as a direct consequence of that. And the final part of it is that wrapping around all of that, there is a heightened approach to customer service. If we go back 3 years to when I started, the turnaround that Christmas was about 10 working days. In the Christmas just gone, which is outside the year that we're talking about today, the turnaround was typically 2, 3, 4 days, probably at the very worst 5 days, but most of the time 2 or 3 days. That's quite a big difference, and we're really proud of the fact that we've delivered that during a pandemic, during all the other challenges that we've had to cope with. We need to talk now about the lending figures. The lending figures are significant, and they are a real part of the success of Stockport Credit Union over recent times. Year on year, we are growing, and it's vital that we do grow. We have to grow the loan book because that's what generates the income, and increasing the income is what allows us to do new things, such as paying for Nevo, which isn't cheap. So just to give you a little bit of context, in the year that we're discussing today, the amount of loans that we processed was just short of 3,500 loans, and that is a 23% increase on the previous year, and that's a good increase. We also lent in monetary terms about £1.6 million, and that's up by about £400,000 on the previous year, and that's about a 35% increase. That is, for a credit union, pretty good going in 1 year, and it probably is the best in the Greater Manchester area in terms of year-on-year growth in the last year. And during that year, we also delivered several months where we did in excess of £150,000 of lending in 1 month, and that was the first time that we'd ever exceeded £150,000 in a month. It's not that long ago, only 2 or 3 years ago, that we were really pleased to get to £100,000 of lending in 1 month, and now we're at 150 on a reasonably regular basis. And in actual fact, since the end of the financial year, we've actually exceeded £200,000 for the first time. That also is a huge milestone for us. During the year, we also carried out a staff restructure, and this was in order to create some new roles which were designed to make the organisation fit for purpose for the next phase of its growth. The roles that we had been designed some years ago, and we had one or two obvious gaps within the organisation. So there were two main things that we did. The first is that we created a welcome team officer role, and the purpose behind that is to work with our newest members over the first 12 months that they're with us, and to help them to really understand what the credit union is about, to demonstrate the values of mutuality, and to make them feel welcome. And we have one member of staff who is geared up towards working exclusively with those members, and then we have volunteers that augment that capacity as well. The other part of it is that for the first time we now have a full-time credit control officer, and as we grow we will naturally expect to see a greater level of arrears, even if we keep the percentage the same or even if we reduce it. The sheer fact that we have a larger loan book naturally means greater levels of arrears. And then of course there is the impact from all the other things such as the cost of living increase that will also have an impact on credit control. So it's really important to us that we get the credit control right, and we feel that by having a full-time credit control officer this now gives us that opportunity to do that. And then we also expanded one or two existing roles as well, and throughout this process we've welcomed several new members of staff into the team, and the headcount now is the largest that it's ever been. So we're really pleased with the way that that's gone, and we now have, we believe, a platform for the future for the next few years of growth. We also now just need to finish by looking forward and talk about where we are today and where we're going in the next few months and maybe the next year or two. So the first thing that we've done is to have a tie-up with the Stockport Homes Group, and in actual fact we've done this in two different ways. We were very fortunate to get a grant from SMBC earlier in the year, and that money is now being used in two different ways. First of all, it's being used to employ the services of a professional marketing team, and this is the first time that we've done this in this way, and you may well have already seen a significant increase in our marketing activity, and particularly on social media. Did you know that we now have Instagram for the first time? If you don't, then please go away and follow us. We're keen to grow our following numbers. But we've also employed a new member of staff who's going to work directly with the 30,000 customers that Stockport Homes actually have. And the purpose of that role is to enable those customers to have a better understanding of what the credit union can provide for them, and to expand our services into their lives. And this is a new role, and the member staff has only recently started, so it's not really up and running fully yet, but we believe that over the next year we'll really start to see some great value coming from that, and we do expect to see a significant increase in membership as a direct result. The other area of work that we are looking at is payroll, and we've got a renewed focus on payroll. We've got Claire Davis, our business development manager, who of course joined us just before the pandemic started, and for 2 years was pretty much unable to go out and meet members of the public and meet the employers. But that's now beginning to change, and we are now getting back in the door of at least some of the organisations that we are currently partnered with. So the challenging targets that we've set for this year, because we really do want to make this work, is that we would like to increase our payroll partners from 15 where they are today to 30 by the end of the year. Now that is a stretch target, that is a big challenge. We may not quite get there, but we are certainly aiming to make a good increase in numbers. The other part of it is that within the existing 15 payroll partners, we know that there is a huge amount of untapped potential, and we want to grow with the member numbers directly from those employers. We currently have about 500 members that are working for those 15 payroll partners, and we would like to get that to 1,000 over the next few months, or maybe the next 12 months. And beyond that, certainly we want to increase it further, but for this year the target is 1,000. If we can do that, that's a significant change. But that's just part of what we do. The other part of what we do, of course, is the social side, and we have a real social purpose, and we need to look at how we can actually expand on that and make that work in a really good way, given everything that's happening in society. We've got a huge increase in gas and electricity bills, which has already started to happen and which is likely to get worse. We've got the soaring inflation rates, we've got the national insurance increase that's coming, and then we've got war in Ukraine, which may well have an untold impact. And we know that our members often have difficult lives anyway, and this will only make things much harder still. So we are putting together a package of measures which Stockport Credit Union is going to put forward, and I'm really proud of where we've got to, because we are only a small business and we can't solve these problems, but we can certainly make a significant impact. And we will be bringing out 3 different measures and we'll probably talk about them a little bit further today later in the meeting, and I know that our Vice Chair is going to talk about one of those three. But just in summary, the three measures that we're putting together should help our members to just live a little bit more easily. We can't cure the problem, but we can certainly help. The final bit of our work over the next 12 months is that there is a proposal for later on today in the meeting to discuss enlarging our common bond. And we'll talk again about that in a little bit more detail when we get to that point in the meeting. But this is a really big opportunity for us. It will take our potential membership, or at least the pool of people we can draw members from 300,000 to about 600,000. That is a significant change for a small credit union, and it will be one of the things that helps us to become a significantly bigger credit union going forwards. So I've covered quite a lot of different things there in quite some brevity really, because there is a lot to talk about. I'll welcome questions at this stage, but just in summary, it's been a good year. It's an exciting time. We have great opportunities in front of us, and we also have a big challenge to make it work, but we will do so. Thank you for your time.